Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video I want to talk about what I dislike about photography. I wanted to do this video for a while because I think it's also important to talk about things I dislike, because photography is not just only having fun outdoors, making pictures and having a good time. There are also some things I don't like at all. And I wrote down some notes for you to share with you. And I think this video is really important because especially if you're a beginner photographer and you want to start out with photography, is this right for you? Do you really want to become a photographer? And yeah, let's get straight into the video. So the first thing I dislike about photography is actually the camera equipment and how expensive it is. For example, when I started out, I had to pay like 500 euros for a camera with a kit lens. And after 2 or 3 months, I realized that kit lens isn't even really good. It's good for video, but for portraits, it's not the best. So I also had to pay again for a lens around for 300, 400 euros. And my camera was then around 1000 euros. And I don't have the best job, and it's really hard to save up for that certain amount. And that's what I feel is kind of sometimes annoying, because when you want to buy new camera gear, you always have to pay a lot, and even SD cards and, most important, external hard drives are so expensive. For example, I pay for 4 terabyte like 100 euros, and I have to do that every maybe 1 month or 2, and that really breaks my bank. And I just feel like I just wish photography would be a bit cheaper so more people can afford it. And yeah, that's something I sometimes wish would be better. And to go to the next thing, we spoke about external hard drives. I feel like sometimes that my external hard drives are so full from photos and video. And my second point is what I dislike is that you just have a lot of space on your SD cards and on your external hard drives, and it's just crazy. You go into a photo shoot and you go back home, and suddenly you realize you just created 100 gigabytes of new space. And I can actually show you, this isn't even everything. These are my external hard drives, and these are just a few. I have like 10 at the moment, and I've been in photography now for a year. So I've had like now over 30,000 gigabytes of memory on my hard drives, and that's really expensive. I paid for space on my hard drives at least 600, 800 euros, and it's just crazy how much space you end up when you do photography. And that's why it's also important that you organize your hard drives, because I see a lot of photographers, they have like all different hard drives and so many different, and they didn't really sort them. It's so important that you make sure your hard drives are sorted. For example, here you see I always put numbers on them. For example, this one is number 1, and I know, okay, I did this one in January, and this one was about in April. And I also have full, so I know, oh, I can't put anything on this again. And I also wrote like a calendar, like a table of content, so I can always see what is in my hard drives. It's a good tip I got for you, by the way. So the third thing I wish would be better about photography is that I sometimes feel like that my gear is so heavy I can't even carry it. For example, I have a very heavy camera bag, and then I have my tripod which I have to carry. Then it's cold in the winter, you have to wear coats, you have to worry about so many things. You have to maybe bring some food, your batteries, SD cards, maybe some accessories. It gets very heavy, and that's sometimes what I feel is kind of annoying, because you end up actually going back home and your whole back is sore because you just wore so heavy gear. And especially when you go to location, you always have to carry your stuff around. And that's what I feel sometimes is really annoying, because your back gets crazy after a few months, but you get used to it. And I think if you pack smart, you don't have to worry about anything. But it's something what I realize is that your camera gear gets very heavy if you like gear up and you have different lenses with you. So it's something you have to bear in mind. And my next point is, and this was one of my experiences I made when I was shooting in the city center, for example, was that a lot of people stare at you. For example, I had a photo shoot in town and there were a few people staring at us, and there were also some people which came up to us and they make fun of us, or they were asking for the model's number and they came too close to the model. And yes, there were also some people who wanted to get in trouble with us, and it was just annoying because we were just doing our thing. We didn't interrupt anybody else. This experience was kind of really annoying because I'm just a random guy and I just don't get it when people come up to us and try to ruin our photo shoot, and they just annoy us. And there were some jerks out there who wanted to go into and get into a fight, and I just don't get it. Why do people want to get in trouble over just photo shoots? And that's why I prefer not to shoot in city hotspots, for example, where people are shopping, or somewhere where a lot of people are who are troublemakers, you know what I mean? And that's why also, to your little advice, make sure you always shoot there where you're safe and don't get into trouble areas, into urban areas where there might be people who could steal stuff, or because you have a lot of gear with you, which is also expensive, and you don't want any random guy or random girl to steal your stuff. So be careful always where you shoot, and plan in advance that you shoot in a public area, but which is also safe. For example, I like to shoot around the city center where there's still public life going on, but it's not too crazy with drunk people. So always be careful. And another thing I really dislike about photography is, and this is kind of personal also, is when you meet people and you have conversations and you have a great photo shoot, and you realize these conversations are real. You have conversations, you talk about life, about journeys, traveling, and then you are back home and then the model says, oh, where are my pictures? I want them now. And I feel like photography can be very on the surface, especially when you're a photographer and you work with a lot of clients, is you have such a deep connection. You have good conversations, you talk, you have fun, but then you're back home and you realize, oh, I'm still this professional, I have to be professional. And it's really hard to connect to people because maybe some people ask you, hey, I really enjoyed today, can we shoot again? And you build up a little friendship, and then it can happen. This, where you have to be careful, is that you become a friend, and then you have to shoot for free, if you know what I mean. So there are sometimes people who try to be your friend, but in reality they just want to do photos with you for free. And that's where you have to be careful, because a lot of models I've experienced, not everyone, there are also really nice models out there and cool models to work with, but there are also some models who are trying to be your friend, but in reality they just want to be your next model which you shoot for free with. So always be careful. And I know it's hard, but being a photographer is you also have to be professional, and sometimes sometimes just say how it is and say, hey, I'm sorry, I'm sending you these pictures, but I can't shoot with you for free. This is my job. I make money with this. I have to pay my camera equipment, especially my external hard drives, because you have to pay so much money for your space. And that's why it's so important to keep a bit of distance, because as a photographer, you're a professional and your model is also your client, and you don't want to get into in a situation where you get into trouble, if you know what I mean. So always keep your distance. And I know it's hard because sometimes it's then too much on the surface, but that's how it is. And you have to see this as a long-term thing, because you don't want to post pictures online and suddenly after half a year, because you had an argument with a model, she says, oh, I don't want to see these pictures on your YouTube channel or on your Instagram. So always be careful that you keep a good connection to the model, but also a connection which is on a business side, you know what I mean? Because then you're always safe. And my final thing, what I dislike about photography, is actually something which has to do with working with models in particular. When you work with models who ask you for a photo shoot and they say, hey, I really like your pictures and I have all my audience and I could push you, I could help you grow your audience. And then you say, yes, sure, you have thousands of subscribers and followers. And you send the pictures then after the photo shoot to the model, and you don't get any exposure at all. And I feel like sometimes photographers think that they can get a lot of followers through models who have a lot of audience themselves, but I feel like you shouldn't depend on it. And my biggest advice for you is never let somebody use you, because as a photographer, you have to do so much work. You have to do the photos, you have to think about creative poses, and the work doesn't stop at the photo shoot. You have to sort out all the pictures, you have to edit all the pictures, and it's just so much work. And I sometimes feel like a lot of models and in general, people who are looking for a photographer, they use photographers, and mostly I feel like that a lot of people want to pay nothing to a photographer, and the photographer does work for free, and oh, you will get exposure when I post the pictures, and you know what I mean? It's kind of sometimes annoying that as a photographer you're always the third wheel. And so one time I had a photo shoot and I was shooting with 2 models, and yeah, they didn't pay me at all, and I was still at the beginning, but afterwards they went shopping and they posted like online that they got new clothes and expensive bags and something, but they didn't like pay me. And my advice for you is don't let somebody like use you in any way, because as a photographer, especially if you're a beginner, of course you have to build up your portfolio, and yeah, it takes a lot of effort and time, but at some stage you can also, like, I personally think, or you should take money for what you do, because the work is so intensive when you're a photographer. You have to do the photos, you have to edit the pictures, you also have to pay so much money for your equipment, and it's just crazy how much money you spend and you don't even realize. And I feel like as a photographer, to you, if you're watching this, make sure nobody uses you and that you always keep your eyes open. That's so important, because there's so many black sheeps out there who try to like get into your photo business and get from you something for free. And yeah, of course you should shoot for free, but only if it's also worth for you. And always make sure that you are also in first position, because at the end of the day, you are the person who does the work. I mean, of course the model also have to do work. For example, they have to pose, they have to be at the location. I know a lot of models also put a lot of time into their work, but if the model asks you for a photo shoot, and if you do it for free, you always have to think, what is my, like, what do I get out of this photo shoot? What is my like substance? You know what I mean? What do I get, and what can this photo shoot teach me, and can this photo shoot bring me further? That's so important to remember. And to really sum up this video, I really hope you enjoyed it. And I also hope maybe you were also able to identify yourself with some things I mentioned in this video. And if you also have things you dislike about photography, you can of course leave it down in the description below. I will also be doing a video about things I like about photography, because I think it's always good to look on both sides, what I dislike and what I like. And if you like this video, you can of course subscribe to my YouTube channel. You can also follow me on Instagram, so you can also check out my work there. I do portraits there. And if you press on the subscribe button, also make sure you also press on the notification button, because then you get notified when I upload a new video. And guys, thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed it, and take care of yourself, and see you next time. Bye.